Hey guys, it's Jaymi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video for you guys. This is a 9x12 layout, and I'm not on a 9x12 on my channel. I do a lot of 8.5x11s, but it actually is a sizable difference going from 8.5x11 to 9x12. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have like a border around the outside of the paper. So I just used a sheet of paper from the Maggie Home Shine collection, which is that backing piece right there that you can see that I've just taken away, because I wanted to do some mixed media on this little white sheet of paper. So what I'm going to do is just the packaging technique using some no, they're not distress inks, they're dilution inks. So I've just sprayed some water onto the sheet of paper, and then I'm spraying the ink onto just a piece of plastic. I'm using just like a Ziploc bag, that you can use any sheet of plastic for this. This was just what I had sitting on my desk. It's basically you spray it down, and then I'm just dabbing off all the little extra bits, just so it becomes a little bit more, I'm going to say dreamy, a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more floaty and airy. I'm just quickly cleaning my desk because I didn't want this to stain, and I like having a white desk. So I'm just doing a little bit extra because I wanted a little bit more on there. This is actually purple, so that one that I put down that's blue is, I think it's called Midnight. It's the dark blue one anyway, and then this one is Laid Back Lilac. I definitely know the name of that one because it's absolutely stunning. I love using it. It's one of my favorite inks ever. So basically what I did was I just spritzed some water down and then used the paper towel to pick it back up because these are water activated. You can do that. A lot of people have done this before. I think I've done this in another video before, so if you want to see that process in detail, you can just look up the packaging technique. Everybody does it. I didn't invent it. So I'm using a lot of double-sided tape, and then I'm also going to use, I think, a little bit of wet glue to stick down this sheet of paper onto the bottom one. If you wanted to be really conservative with using backing pieces, you could obviously cut out a blank square, but I don't really care with this sheet of paper because I have a massive stack of it and I haven't used any of it, so I've been trying to use it up, and this is a great way to use it up that I've found. So pulling off the double-sided tape, this is my standard double-sided tape that I use in every video. It's nothing special. I was just flipping it around because of the fact that I wanted to make sure of sort of where I was going to place my photos. I had a general idea that I wanted to place my photos sort of going down in like a curvy sort of bend, going from the left-hand corner down to the right-hand corner. So I'm going to then grab out some papers, and obviously because I've used such a bright blue vibrant color, I wanted some more neutral colors for the paper layers. So I do end up using those two that I've pulled out, and then I do try to find like a purpley bluey color that will go with that background. So initially when I'm matting paper, what I like to do is have one big mat for the whole photo, and then I just do little bits around the outside that you'll see in a moment. I'm just using some double-sided tape to stick down my paper layers. You could use wet glue. I just like double-sided tape because it's stuck, it's dry, you don't have to redo it. I'm using my really big scissors, as people would say they're giant scissors. But I like these scissors, they're really great because you can just cut it in one foul snipping motion. You don't have to really do extra things. So this is what I mean by going off the side of the sheet of paper. I think it just gives a little bit of extra detail and maybe something a little bit more interesting. That's sort of my logic to how I do paper layers. And when I'm doing multiple photos on a page, I like to use the same papers for the layers because I think it sort of makes them more cohesive and go together. That's my style. That's how I like to do it. You can do it any way you want, but that's sort of a tip from me. If you don't think that your multiple photo layouts look cohesive, it's something really subtle, but I think it does sort of, the eye really draws on the fact that they are different papers, and it makes you realize that they're different photos, whereas I like to, in multiple photo layouts, make it look like they are quite the same. Luckily with these two photos, they were taking a few seconds apart from each other. I should explain what the photos are. These are photos of my dog in summer when we went down to, there's a creek near our house, and there's this really giant log that's fallen across the creek, and you can sit on it, and my dog was on there, and I took a photo of him, and then I had him sitting on my lap and he was just staring at my dog, so I took a photo of him again. But it's really fun. Being not a parent who scraps and someone who doesn't have such a busy life, I find it really difficult to find photos that most people would generally scrap. I think a lot of people would put this in their project life, but for me, this is something I love to scrap. I love scrapping photos of my dog. His name is Leo, in case you wanted to know. So that's something I do as a young scrapper who isn't got such a busy life going on. That's something I like to do. Obviously, you know, it's your own scrapping. You can scrap whatever you want. These are just the photos that I love to scrap, and he's staring at me as I'm doing the voiceover. So I'm just using the double-sided tape just on the side because that's what I like to do. I really like having double photos sort of on top of each other. I'm not sure why. I think I saw it in a video a long time ago, and I just thought it looked absolutely stunning. So I've honestly kept doing it. A few weeks ago, though, I did do a multiple photo layout that didn't have the photos touching, which was very different to what I normally do. This is very similar to something that I do quite often when I'm doing multiple photo layouts, and I do this sort of filmation a lot with mixed media with the sort of trickling down. So I'm going through this paper pack, and this was the first time I had used it, I think. I think I did film this before the other layout. So I'm just going through it, trying to find some sort of floral embellishments. I wanted to go with sort of a flowery technique to make this layout look a little bit more softer because of the fact that it was so bright with that with the mixed media ink in the background, and the photo is very, I would say, not sort of a delicate photo. You know, it's a dog standing on a log. It's not a very delicate photo, so I wanted to add some sort of delicate embellishments to kind of balance that off with each other. So I decided to go with some florals as well as just a few little leaf elements to sprinkle down. So I do eventually stick them down, but what I like to do is to do my title. And this title, I had already planned it out initially. I was going to do Wilderness Explorer, like from the movie Up, but I accidentally stuck down the title in the wrong way, so it turns out to be Let's Explore the Wilderness, something like that, because I did stuff up. So that was an accident. So I'm also going through this other floral pack that I have, picking out a few extra elements. These are from the Reject store. They're really, really great. They are gold foiled, and I find them actually really, really good because they're not absolutely massive like you get with Crate Paper or American Crafts, those sorts of brands. Their ephemera is giant. Yes, their ephemera is definitely better quality and it's nice and thick cardstock. This is still cardstock, but it's not as thick. So I'm just sticking them down, moving them around. I did sort of position them first before I stuck them down. Usually I would just stick it down, but I was a bit unsure because these florals are really different. They're not like the traditional, you know, roses and stuff. They're very, I would say, whimsical flowers and whimsical leaves, so I did want to trim them down. I did want to put this little tag element up the top, and then I'm just sort of pushing them around, figuring out where I want them to go. And then I think I just get my wet glue and I stick them down. I'm using my wet glue because it's a lot easier to sort of tuck them behind the photos. I do love doing that with embellishments because I think it makes the photo really pop. Something that I would want to do to go back, if I could possibly go back in time, I would want to bump up the main photo. The main photo is the one where he's standing on the log. I'd want to bump that up with maybe some foam tape or just something to sort of make it pop a little bit more. It feels like it's sort of falling flat into the background eventually, and the title kind of really stands out a lot because of the fact that it is a cork title. I do think it looks really awesome though. It's really awesome to have that cork title because it ties in with the brownness of the water. Obviously it's a creek, as well as the sort of neutral color of the photo and then that backing paper. So here I am starting to do the title, and I will cut it out because it did take a long time. It is a really big title. So once I do that, you're going to see the stuff up. So here I am putting down the word Explorer, and if you have seen the movie Up, you know it is Wilderness Explorer. And the word wilderness is a very long word and was not going to fit. And this is when I realized, oh no, what am I doing? And I try to pick them up and they are stuck. They're not coming off. And I couldn't put wilderness down because it was going to go over his head. So I just think, okay, well, we'll put it underneath. We'll figure it out later. So that's when I go and just stick it down. And in my head right now, I'm going, what have you done? You're so silly. I wasn't saying silly, I was saying other words. I was really angry. I thought this title was going to be so clever. I love using movie quotes. as title layouts because I'm a really big movie fan, so that's something I love to do, and it's how I come up with a lot of my titles. And then I just sort of think on the fly, I grab out some other alphas, and I go and do let's explore the wilderness. Or maybe it's just explore the wilderness. I can't remember. One or the other. I did do this a while ago. So I do try and move them up just slightly so that I can fit this black alpha in. Those cork ones are thickers, and then these ones are, I think, by Jelly Bean Soup. They're really, really awesome. I love them. So it's explore the wilderness. I thought it had let's. So I'm going around adding some doodly border around the outside because of the fact that I was adding that element of the black word let's. I wanted some more of a black element and sort of an extra border. I really love adding borders to layouts. If you haven't tried it, I'd recommend it. It looks really cool and fun and sort of almost like faux stitching. I really want to get a really cheap sewing machine to do stitching. I think I might have to start looking at some thrift stores to see if I can find some, but I'm not there yet to spend $150 on a sewing machine. Not there yet. So I'm going to go through all of my little, what I call my mini embellishments. I'm going to call them raindrop embellishments because I do kind of just splat them down anywhere. So this is my little wood veneer box, and I have just bought a whole bunch of more wood veneer, so they will be coming soon, and I'll do a little haul video for all of those. Again, I'm using wet glue. I always use wet glue to stick down 3D embellishments because of the fact that they will fall off if you don't use enough glue because they're heavy. And then I'm also going to stick down a few little resin flowers. These resin flowers are all from eBay. If you just go on eBay and search resin flowers, 1.5 million will come up. There's so many. So, yeah, I love them. They're cheap. They're $1. I do need to buy a little bit more because the colours are starting to get a bit strange. I want some sort of more neutral colours. Then I'm using, I tried to stamp it with the lid, not the actual ink pad. This is the Maggie Holmes, I think it's from the Shine collection, I want to say. It's the roller phrase stamp, whatever you call them. So I do the ghosting, and then this is an Amy Tan one. I think is it Let's Go Together? We Go Together? Something about that. Together, better together. I think it's that one. They're old roller stamps. They're nothing new. I do want to buy a lot more roller stamps. I think that's going to be my next scrapbook.com haul, is a whole bunch of roller stamps because roller stamps are amazing. This is just some little tiny gold hearts. I have a really tiny little punch that I got off of eBay years ago as like a kid that still works, and it's so awesome, and they're really tiny. So I love using those. I'm a big fan of using tiny little gold hearts. I don't hate, hate's a strong word. I dislike using giant gold hearts on page. I think it draws the attention away from the photo. So I like using some tiny ones. And then I'm just going through my dwindled collection of tiny word stickers. I need some more. These are just sad, but they don't make these anymore. These are the Carpe Diem ones, and unfortunately they don't make them anymore. Simple Stories, what are you doing? You need to bring some out. These were awesome. I think these were the first set I ever bought, and then I've had the Tim Holtz Small Talk. They're pretty good too, but these ones are really awesome because they were so small. The Tim Holtz ones are really long strips, so you kind of have to cut them down, which is fine. I don't mind cutting them down, but these ones were just really delicate. So I loved these ones, and I'm going to call the layout done there. I'll have a close-up for you here, and I'll have some photos at the end. I hope you enjoyed this layout. It's really awesome. If you recreate it, let me know. I'd love to see the amazing work you do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!